So welcome to Chasing Modern Classics. We're here with the Subaru 22B, and I thought we'd just go back to 1999. I found this Autocar magazine here, and just have a look at value so you understand what we're trying to do, why we're trying to buy these cars. My history is 90s, 2000 rally cars. I love them. I love the way you can get a replica of what Colin McRae, Carlos Sainz, all these racing drivers would drive. But prices, let's just have a look, because I looked in here. Now, a Subaru 22B, back in the day, I sold one for 22,000. That car had about 8,000 miles, so it'd probably be about 400,000 now. But there was brand new Subaru 22Bs for sale, £47,500 back then. Quite a few of them actually, there's 4 on here. A Subaru Impreza Terzo was 25,000, can you believe that? So in today's money, a 22B is minimum $250,000. And a Terzo is probably 15,000. So at that time, that 20,000 difference has now become like $250,000 difference plus. But you know what the video's for today? It's for a car I used to drive in the 90s, around 92, 93, and it's a Celica GT4. This is a Carlos Sainz edition. I was actually driving my dad's car, which was the GT4. It wasn't the wide track like this one, but it was in white. I love that car. It was great to drive. I was only 20, 21, so having good fun time, 4-wheel drive, nice amount of power. But what we're going to do now is we're just going to talk through how many were made and what's so special about this car and what sort of value it could end up being.
San Remo and put a lot of work into a revised Celica with a new viscous coupling centre diff, and it must win.
Yes, I'm really looking for this rally, and I hope we can make a much better result than last year and try for sure to go to the end and make a rally without any problem.
So if you haven't seen the auction, that was the previous video where we bought this car from Collecting Cars. It's a car I've been chasing for a while, over 10 years actually. Tried to buy one before, didn't get it, looked at quite a few, they wasn't quite the right condition for me. I didn't want to absolutely overhaul one of these. I saw one at Hever Castle actually, a white one. I was really keen on that, but they wasn't keen on selling. So it's been a bit of a journey to get one. And I feel this car is just, one, it's super good looking. I think it looks fantastic. I love the pop-up lights. That's something I know we saw on the Diablos and that of the time, but I do feel like it makes the car look very happy, especially with the lights up. And then when you flash people as well, it's quite fun with them going up and down. Let's just talk about the Carlos Sainz edition, because I don't know how much knowledge you know about this car. Back in that period, you had to have 5,000 homologation cars made to be able to go rallying. So they made 5,000 Carlos Sainz Toyota GT4s. 440 of them were for the UK, and this is a UK car. There's about 129 left in the UK, Carlos Sainz and normal GT4s. The original GT4 didn't have this wide body, it had a different bonnet scoop on the front. So the Carlos Sainz edition, different front bumper, different bonnet, bit more power, slightly different second to third on the gearbox, different clutch, different limited slip differential as well on the car. This is what I love about getting these cars, is all this stuff here. Look, why it's limited edition, Carlos Sainz here, his rally car here. And I love just going through this. And when the car arrived on Thursday, I just couldn't wait to go through these bits and just have a look at everything on here. So 0 to 60 is not very quick actually, especially in these days, but 7.6, 143 mile an hour top speed. But why we're buying these cars is they're very, very drivable, and that's why I've got so many of these type of cars. And when I was thinking about it, would you have the Diablo or this? I was more excited about this than the Diablo because I used to drive one. And that makes it nostalgic, and you go back in time and you look in there and you've got a cassette player and a CD player, and I just love that.
First stage of the rally, but that was as close as he got. It was all over now. Victory for Sainz was what had really opened it up, and he had every reason to celebrate. Incredibly, after this terrible 1992 season, he is now one of 3 men who can be world champion. The others, of course, are Didier Auriol and second place Juha Kankkunen, and the title will be decided between them by their finishing order in Chester in a couple of weeks.
So let's go back to 1990. Toyota are on the scene of rallying. They're starting to make huge progress. Lancia are now struggling a little bit. This Toyota comes in 1990, Carlos Sainz world champion. Lancia come back in 91, they win, Juha Kankkunen. 92, Toyota win again, Carlos Sainz. That's how this car was developed. And they were times when rallying was huge. You imagine bigger than F1 now, much bigger. So many people were watching these rallies. 6 million people went to the RAC rally in Wales to watch Colin McRae win in 95. They went on to win the world title in 93 and 94 with Kankkunen and Didier Auriol winning in 94. So this has huge history, actually probably more than Subaru. Subaru won in 95, they won in 2001, they won in 2003. So this, in the 90s early, was the car. But I think it's underappreciated and not many people know about it. So I don't know whether you're a former GT4 owner or not, but this car was really special. And when it was special because it had one lady owner from new, one. So she bought it in March 1992, run that car all the way through. It's done 57,000 miles, went into storage for a bit, but she obviously loved this car because how many people have one owner cars? Imagine it's 1992, it's 31 years old. 31 years old, this car. Looking at my preference was to have the narrow body original car that I had, but I'm trying to buy cars that potentially are going to go up in value, and the Carlos Sainz one is the one to have. Also, colour-wise, I did really want white, and I've ended up with grey, but I did work out on the forums, under 30 of the 440 cars were in grey. It's actually one of the lowest sort of colour that people chose, which again, I think makes it more valuable, because looking at it, I think it looks lovely in grey. Right, let's just move round to the back of the car and go through some of the bits there. I love the back of this car as well, and one of the things I was looking at, especially on collecting cars and all the images, was all these original badges, Monte Carlo winner, Toyota garage, all the etchings on every window is correct to when it left the factory. I like this little spoiler on here, obviously the wind is going through here. I love the badges. Really nice sort of chrome detail. I really like the smoked lights on the back as well. Twin exhaust. It's a lovely, lovely rear to this car. And I'm just going to open this boot because I haven't opened it yet. It's nice actually using a key. I do like using a key. Quite heavy, but it's actually not a bad boot. And back in that time, you'd always put the seats down if you needed more space. There's a spare wheel in here. Actually comes up a little bit there as you see, but yeah, it's a lovely, lovely car. And I was just thinking about getting the golf clubs in, but I think they will fit fine. Listen to this as well. Toyota, brilliant brand. Right, so let's jump in. I haven't actually been in it very much because I only just moved it into the garage. It's quite interesting. The seats are very, very comfortable, really comfortable. Clutch feels easy. Gearbox is obviously really good. Probably one of the best around. Nokia telephone. This is quite interesting though. Cup holders back then. Good position, isn't it? Clever. Out the way, doesn't hit the gear lever. Tape player, CD player. The thing I'm really noticing is how far ahead this car was though, because I've got everything electric, windows, door lock. Compared to a Subaru, this is just way on. And the values of these at the time, I think this car was about 27,000 new, which was quite a bit more than the other cars out there, the other sort of rally ones. I think the Subarus were about sort of 20-ish. It's a very nice place to be. I'm looking forward to driving it, to tell the truth. I love these plaques, you know, these plaques are lovely, really nice plaque. Sunroof, probably not much room in the back. Glove box, pretty good. Lots of Celica things on there. Doesn't close, does close. I remember these alarms, always had these little, look like little microphones. But no, it's really, really nice. I do like the pop-up lights. Now, when you get into these, the steering wheel, if we get the keys, where are the keys? The steering wheel should, there you go, drop into place. And then when you come out, it should, again, goes back up. But it's a really, really nice feature, actually. I think it's a great car. I just really want to drive it, if I'm honest. Now, the problem and reason we haven't is the tyres are 20 years old. And when I've tried to do the pressures on them, they keep coming up 0 and they look really low and the steering feels really funny. So we'll talk about that near the end, but we're just going to upgrade the alloys and the tyres to new Michelin Sport 5s as normal. And then I can really get out and drive the car. Right, let's go to the front of the car, do a conclusion on this, where values are going to be, and then look forward to driving it. Let's have a look at the engine bay. 2 litre, 16 valve, 4-cylinder. Now, not a huge amount of horsepower, actually. I was just looking in here. It's 205 horsepower at 6,000 revs. Not a huge amount. 203 foot of torque, between 3,200 and 4,800. It says it has a flat torque curve to unleash all the power when you need it, which we will see when we drive it. But yeah, it's a nice engine in here. Now, one of the things we have done with this series of Chasing Modern Classics is we've partnered with Lewis at Elite Finishes. He's going to take this car and clean it, ceramic coat it, whatever it needs. The bits on the side as well, these have been added on. I want to take them off, get it back to original. The bonnet has been repainted. There might have been a few other bits, but say it's done sort of 57,000 miles. And even though it's had one owner, you're always going to get a few bits on these cars over time. I'm looking forward to what he can do. Even the interior seems immaculate. Even though that's 30 years old, I can't believe it. It seems like new, but it will look amazing. I'm just interested to see the performance because 7.6 seconds is very, very slow these days. But when I get the tyres on, and let's have a think about the tyres. Now, these are like 20-year-old tyres. They are like rock hard rocks. They shouldn't be driving them. So I've ordered some Oz 17-inch rims for this. LMs, Oz Racing. Oz Racing would have been the alloy of choice back in the day. They're going to look amazing. I'm going to get them in grey, which I hope is right. I was thinking of having white. Get some new Michelin Pilot Sport 5s on. And this should hopefully drive really well because, again, I haven't got loads of power, so I'm just going to enjoy the handling. The car's just going to flow with the road all the time. Let's just get a conclusion value-wise because that's why I bought it. Even though we're nostalgia of the 90s, I like to collect cars. We've got quite a collection now. I'm not sure how many, and it's going up every week. This car, we paid 16,000 plus fees at collecting cars. Now, I've seen other cars go for a bit more than that, but with less miles. I think this car is going to go up quite a bit, and I think it's going to be up in the 50s. That's where I think. So I'm just going to sit on this now, enjoy it. I can drive it. It's a nice mileage. Get it really clean, really up to sort of my spec. Put it away, bring it out for events, and then see where we are in sort of, I don't know, 5 years' time. It's not something I overly want to sell because I haven't paid a huge amount for it. And this is why I think people are going to gravitate to this type of car. Because if you're out there now, you've got a GT3 or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, that's all fine. But you're going to suddenly find you're going to lose 50,000. And that's happening now. Interest rates are too high. There's too many of them cars. How many of these have we seen? I've hardly seen any. They're going to go up in value. You're going to drive them. You're going to enjoy them. You're going to remember your childhood and being out in these sort of cars. These are going to go up in value. Right, so the next video, you'll see me driving the car, 17-inch Oz LM alloys on, Michelin Sport 5 tyres. Going to get it out on the road, see how it drives. That's going to be the next video. Then it's over to Lewis. He's going to clean all this car and we're going to get loads of video of that as well. And then this car just goes on a whole journey right to the end till a car show. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We'd love you to get notifications about all these videos we're doing on Chasing Modern Classics, and I'll see you again soon.